All right, good morning. This will be a course introduction and a review of the syllabus for our literacy and free enterprise, also known as life economics class. Life economics is a general education class that all non-business majors at SBU are required to take. So I'm going to give an overview of this and then take a look at the syllabus, and I would take questions in a normal case at the end, but since this is a video being recorded, I won't be taking any questions, so I guess email could be used to respond to those. There's my information at the top, my contact information. I am Mr. King. I've been teaching at SBU for about this is my fourth year teaching at SBU. I started as an adjunct prior to that, but this is fourth year full time. And so I've been teaching this class for probably 7 years, and I think that you'll enjoy this class. It's going to be helpful. We're going to cover the basics of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and a bit on personal finance. So I think that you will find it helpful, especially if you haven't had any other exposure to business or economics in your other coursework. So as you can see there, my office hours are listed. I'm in 117, which is in the bottom of Taylor, which would be, if you're in class right now, it's just down the back hall there on the left. You get to the glass doors there and then bear to the left and you'll find me there. You can find my email address there and my phone number. The best way to get a hold of me is email. I rarely will answer that office phone, but if you call it and leave a message, it will send me an email and then I will be able to respond. So I have a little bit on the description of this course here. As you know, that, as I said before, it's a gen ed course or a liberal arts, part of our liberal arts curriculum, and you will see that there. The textbook you will be required to have. This is the textbook. All right, Economics, Theory and Practice. This is a good book, so you do need to have this. There is also a digital copy of this textbook available, so I would recommend having that. Of course, you'll need that. That'll have all of your readings in it, and your presentations will all be tied to that book. So you'll need a copy of that book. All right. So here are some objectives of the course. We're gonna talk about ethical problems, of course, in our economics that we'll find. What you will find is that this course is approached from a strong free enterprise perspective, that you will find everything in the College of Business and Computer Science is where we kind of come from an unashamed free market perspective. So that's what you're going to be getting in here. The name is even in the class, literacy and free enterprise. So we are proponents of free enterprise, so that's going to be the perspective. A heavy emphasis on limited government, and an emphasis on capitalism and an integration of Christian faith into those topics. So we will, by virtue of that, we have the freedom to talk about the ethics, and from a biblical worldview, we'll look at the ethics of economics, and we'll parse through those things, and finance, and hopefully come away with some helpful information that you can use. We will talk about history of economics. We'll talk about what has led to kind of the situations we're seeing now, and in terms of government intervention and things like this. We'll talk about those things from a historical perspective, where we've been, where perhaps we might be going. We're going to look at, like I said, free enterprise and then alternative systems. We're not going to hide any alternative systems, but we're going to talk about those, and then we're going to talk about why that we hold a free enterprise view, and so we'll introduce other economic systems as well. And then we're going to talk about we're going to look at economic concepts. We're going to look at supply and demand and all of these different things using tables, graphs, and charts there. And then as we make our way down, we're going to look at different personal decisions. Those will be in our microeconomics portion of the class, but also in the macroeconomics. It's good to look at the economics on a macro scale, which will affect someday how you're voting and how you're thinking. Maybe maybe you do vote, maybe you are involved in politics or things like this, but a macro, just because macroeconomics are large scale doesn't mean that those won't apply to you. So those are good things to know. And then certainly the personal finance, the microeconomics will consider your day-to-day decisions, and that'll help. And we look through free enterprise as has been mentioned. And so economic principles to evaluate personal decisions, economic theory, all of these things. We're going to do some writing, we're going to do some presenting, and we're going to certainly do some listening. We're going to talk about small groups. That's going to be kind of the delivery method of this class, mostly seated delivery, but you will have a chance to do some presenting and some writing as well. And then hopefully that will lead to the development of critical thinking. So you can see how our objectives will be met on those. I have listed the general education philosophy, and you can look at those, but I've sort of mentioned that already. Our mission statement here, as you know, that we at SBU, you are probably familiar with our mission statement, that we're a Christ-centered, caring academic community, and that we are preparing students to be servant leaders in global society. So that you will find that worldview sort of permeated through this class, and that will be that's kind of our general education philosophy. Okay, so and then I'm not going to go through that general education mission statement, but you can read that on your own if you want, and the vision statement. But the good part of this is we think through a biblical worldview and how to communicate these things and how to become critical thinkers and lifelong learners and look at other societies. Okay, so these are important things to do as we go through this class. As I mentioned, it's going to be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, 12 to 12:50. In room 140 here, so you will be able to find that. Of course, you found it now, so hopefully you will be able to find that in the future. In terms of cell phone, laptop technology, I will say this: I will permit the use of laptops in this class. This would be the main question. But according to our laptop agreement, you will need to send me your notes after each class period so that I know you're not messing around on your laptop or cruising around on Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram or whatever your social media choice is there. But I will have you email me those notes. Certainly, you are not allowed to have text messaging. You're not allowed to be text messaging during class, and I would prefer that your phones are not even seen during class. So please don't do those, and except for the limited times where we might have a quiz that we would take using our phones or devices or something like this. And as you can see there, if you're seen to be using your phone in class, there's a sort of a zero tolerance policy. You will lose 5 points from your total grade. So this is basically reverse bonus points. If your cell phone is seen, then there's a column in Blackboard that's called class participation, and you'll just lose 5 points, and that's a common thing. Usually students only have to lose 5 points once, and they won't really like that, and they will not want to do that again. Generally, students like bonus points; they don't like reverse bonus points. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that I want you to be paying attention. Lecture time is important, and so you can see those on the email information. So. You need to check. You need to be familiar with Blackboard and be checking your Blackboard, and that's in your email. That's how I'm going to be communicating with you during this class. Attendance. So in the past, we have had an attendance policy of 10% because of COVID. You could miss no more than 10%. You had to be at 90% of the classes. Keep in mind that's sort of my expectation. That it's important that you are here during class, that we are doing learning in class, and so you need to be here in class. Because of COVID, we've sort of loosened regulations around that, and we will not be counting, we will not be tying classroom attendance to your grade. However, you do need to be, if you're not here, you're not going to be learning, and unless you have a valid excuse, you're not going to be able to make up those points of the things that we do in class. So you do need to be here in class. Dress code, I won't really go too far into the dress code, but let's keep those standards high. All right, let's dress decently. Remember, I'm trying to help prepare you become professionals, and so let's have good taste and honorable Christian character. Okay, those are good things to keep in mind for our dress code. You will find in our faith integration, you will find that every day I will open class by reading the verse of the day. And if you don't have the YouVersion Bible app, it's a pretty good app. So I will find the YouVersion Bible app and read that verse every day. And then we'll have a prayer to open class. And then from that will be on a class sort of level. But then on a level of our college, you'll notice that we have the Psalm 15 lecture, or we have the Psalm 15. Well, we do have the Psalm 15 lecture series, which you'll be invited to, but we have our Psalm 15 traits listed out on our Psalm 15 walkway out there that you can see. But there they are, and this is how we seek to apply the servant leadership ideas this semester. We'll go through each of these traits that are found in Psalm 15, and this semester was on integrity. So we'll have a Psalm 15 lecture series. We'll have some this year. We will have panelists be presenting on integrity. That'll be a good thing. So that is one way that we try to integrate faith in the College of Business Computer Science here. And so moving on, we'll see this portion will cover the grading in the class. You're going to have some chapter quizzes. You can read about those, but you're going to have 10 of those. And those you will have there will be 3 chapter quizzes before each exam. So I'll open those up a couple of weeks before the exam. You take those. Those are really to review the material in your book and to prepare for those exams. Those are 10 points each. You can take them as many times as you want to get all 10 of those points. So make sure you do those. And that if you don't do those, you're losing points. So this is a chance to help your grade without doing a whole lot. So next you will find the written assignment 1. This you will be comparing a market or capitalist economy with a planned economy. So you will be finding 2 countries that have those 2 different types of economies. I will explain to you what those economies are and before you have to write on those. So you'll have a good handle on what capitalism is, what socialism is, and how those will be compared. And then you'll analyze one aspect of one of these countries, and you'll sort of discuss those things. And then our second written assignment later in the semester will be a discussion on minimum wage. So we're going to talk about minimum wage, and we're going to look through minimum wage, and we're going to see is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What does the government intervention in that area look like? And so that will be another paper that you're writing. I have the grading criteria listed there. All right, so please see your syllabus for that. You can see you need to have good research. Make sure you're citing 3 sources, have an analysis. Pay attention closely to your grammar, spelling. We even have a writing center here on campus that you can go and have them work with you on making sure that your grammar and spelling are where they need to be for a course of this undergraduate level. And then, of course, we use the APA format here, so I recommend either having an APA manual or looking on Purdue OWL is a website that has good resources to that end. We'll have personal finance assignment that we will do. I'll explain that later in detail, but that will be sort of an evaluation of your own personal finance, and we'll be looking through those. Our up for debate topics here are, we will have groups of 3 or 4, and in your chapters in this book, you will find your up for debate topics. Okay, those are listed in the chart below, but you will need that book to find information on those topics. You will be graded as far on your rubric down here below, content, creativity, and delivery, or content, creativity, and communication. So those will be goes. That is a 45-point assignment, so I'll be looking at those. Those are 15 points each. And so there the topics are listed, okay, and the page numbers, you can find those. And those will be every time before we have an exam, somebody will be presenting it up for debate. Okay, so the day before our exam, there will be an up for debate and presentation, and so everybody will present. Our economics exercise, there's a book called Economics. I've actually talked to our library, and they've obtained a digital copy, all right, so you won't have to buy this book, but you will write a short summary of the chapter that you are assigned, and I want a 1 or 2 paragraph explanation along with some bullet points of what is discussed in there. This is going to discuss environmentalism, all right, from an economic perspective. So you're going to get to read some of that during class on a given day. We're going to present all of these, and basically, if you're assigned chapter 1, there will be a group of you that has chapter 1. You'll come down and you'll share some of your bullet points, and I will ask somebody to share a summary of that chapter. And so it'll be sort of informal, but I want you to read through those things and do a great job of that. All right, so our exams here, you can see they're 100-point exams. Those are going to be generally multiple choice, so look at the guidelines around those. If you're going to miss those, you must let me know in advance. So that would be for an excused absence, such as a sporting event or other university-related activity. There's your final grading scale. All right, I will not be rounding the grades, so do a great job. Take advantage of every opportunity you have to make those points. You can see our disability statement there if you have any questions about those. And academic integrity, just make sure that we are upholding those Christian standards here and doing our best to do those. We don't want to have any cheating or plagiarism, okay, or misrepresentation of truth or things like this. So we're going to hold to higher standards. You are here to learn. You're not here to recycle old material. So I hope that you will be able to embrace those things. And so and then I will finish off. Here's just as you can see that today would have been a course introduction, and then you can see as we scroll through, this is going to be all your work throughout the semester, and that is a schedule of the course. Thank you. If you have any questions, please send me an email, which you can find at the top of the syllabus, and I look forward to having you in class this semester.